This is All About Wine, the talk show dedicated to the wine industry since 2009. Featuring winemaker, cellar master, vineyardist, and tasting expert, Ron.
Basically, what we're trying to do on this program is just trying to educate people and trying to make wine less confusing and more friendly.
From coast to coast and around the world.
You know, we really have had some neat people on the program. I love that.
Post your questions and comments during the live show on our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/allaboutwinebtr. Again, that's www.facebook.com/allaboutwinebtr. And now, All About Wine is on. Here's Ron.
All right.
Huh.
Okay, we're only about 15 minutes late getting started today because
Again?
I am having problems. I'm having problems with my computer. I think I need a new computer. It has been giving me fits off and on. In fact, I've even told you this back in the past. So I think I might need a computer. But as of right now, I don't have one, and it won't be within the next week or so before I get a new one. I don't know if Mike can hear me or not. I cannot hear Mike at all. We've been playing for the last 15 minutes, trying to see if he can hear me. He can't. We've been messaging back and forth, and that's the only way we communicate. He played the opening, and I heard it fine. So I guess I'm good to go, and I hope you're hearing me out there. And yeah, he just told me he hears me on the live stream. So everything is good there. So I got things to tell you. And he hears himself on the live stream. So he can talk to you and I can talk to you, but we can't talk to each other. Well, that's pretty messed up. But if that's the way it is, then we'll have to go. I don't know why I can't hear him. That makes absolutely no sense at all because I'm hearing everything else. Oh, well, anyone out there is a computer technician, then, give us some hints on how we can fix this stuff. All right. A few things to talk about tonight. And we've got, we'll cut down the time a little bit here too, since you're probably expecting an hour show, and we're already 15 minutes late, so we'll get into it a little bit later. Go a little bit later tonight. Let's start with the glossary. A few things on the glossary. The computer is slow, though. Whenever I try to load anything, the computer is slow. Okay. Pheno, I think, is where we stopped. Finish was the last thing we did. And Pheno is the next one up. F-I-N-O, Pheno. That is the driest classification of sherry wines. Sherry being from Spain, technically originally from Spain. The freshest and palest category of sherry. Phenos are protected from oxygenation by cap of fleur yeast while aging in the barrel. So they got yeast over the top of it, keeps oxygen out of it, and it keeps it fresh and good for you. I love sherry. I love a good sherry. It's great after dinner drink, and there's all sorts of different types of sherries, and I've always been a sherry's fan. First growth, or classified growth. These are the let's go back to classified growth, okay? Let me read you that again. I've read that to you already, but let me go back and refresh your memory what the definition of classified growth is. Okay, let me find it here. Classified growth. This is included in Bordeaux's 1855 classification, which ranked chateaus from first growth to fifth growth. The original classification was set by the prices that the wines fetched and was intended to be synonymous with quality. Okay, that's what classified growth is. Now let's go back to first growth. This is growth from 1 to 5. So let's go back to first growth. And where are we? Okay, there it is. First growth. The first growth classifications are these chateaus, these wineries in France. Chateau Haut-Brion, Chateau Lafite Rothschild, Chateau Latour, Chateau Margaux, and Chateau Monton Rothschild. Those are the first growth. Those are supposed to be, at the time of the classification in 1880, the best wines that France was making. So that was the purpose of the first growth. And they still are pretty darn good, let me tell you. And they're really expensive. Next definition, flabby. This describes a wine that is unbalanced due to insufficient acidity, which gives us the lacking a backbone or lacking a basic structure of it. You've all had flabby wines. Some of your inexpensive, cheaper wines tend to be flabby. So now you know what to call it. Flat. This describes a wine that is dull in flavor and unbalanced due to insufficient acidity. Again, flabby and flat are pretty much close together, pretty much the same thing. This can also refer to a sparkling wine that has lost its bubbles, and that's flat is probably used for that more than it's used for to describe a wine that's doesn't have the proper acid balance. Fleshy. This describes a wine with good extract and a smooth texture. The sensation of drinking the wine recalls biting into ripe, fleshy fruit, such as a plum. Honestly, I have never been able to relate to the term fleshy when I drink wine, and it's you can, and a lot of people do. I just have not been able to do it, and so, but that's really what the definition of fleshy is. It's just a well, biting into a plum. I guess that's a good definition. Flight. This is a set of wines that are compared and contrasted with one another. A single flight can include as few as 2 wines, but 3 to 6 wines are common in a flight. You find flights of wine very common at wineries now when they do tastings. Instead of giving you a taste of all their wines, they will give you a flight of certain ones. Or sometimes they have a flight of wines that are certain years, say the last 5 years vintage. That's also common. But flight is used a lot in tastings if you like to flight of wines. So that's used more so than any other type of setting. Although you can do flights of wine anytime. I've told people to do flights of wine and wine tastings at home. That's always fun too. Flinty. This is a descriptor for extremely dry white wines, such as Sauvignon Blanc, whose bouquet can be reminiscent of flint struck against steel. There's one of those situations where you can't really understand the full context of it because a lot of people have never had the smell of flint struck against steel. it's a good descriptor and you understand what they're talking about, but to actually relate to that aroma is beyond people, because how often do you actually get a chance to experience flint against steel? So, but that's what flinty means. Flor, Flor. Flor is the Spanish term for a cap of yeast that forms over sherry wine as it ages in the barrel. This protects the wine from oxidation. And that's what I just talked about, phenol and the cap that that protects the wine. We're back to the first description that I told you today. Floral, 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 also flowery. This is literally having the characteristic aromas of flowers, mostly associated with white wine. Sauvignon Blanc gives me a floral aroma a lot of times. So that, and as does oh geez, what wine am I thinking of? Gewürztraminer. There, that also gives me a floral aroma. Flowering. This is the emergence of tiny blossoms on grapevines in late spring. An important time of year, since spring rains and winds can disrupt flowering, reducing the potential crop. It is a critical time of year. It doesn't, I'm a little bit more explanation. It is a very critical time of year. What was it, 3 years ago, if I remember correctly, Burgundy had hailstorms about the time that they had flowers pop out on the blossoms pop out on the grapevines. Those blossoms are grapes, and they will eventually turn into grapes. And the hailstorm destroyed them. They lost a lot of acreage to the hailstorm that went through. I want to say Burgundy, but it may have been Bordeaux. But it's critical. It's a time of year, and even something as strong rains going through or heavy winds or something can knock off blossoms and affect the crop. It's a very critical time. Usually they're pretty good, but it's still something that's they are watching for, and they're skeptical of the weather. Foot trotting. FOOT, foot trotting, TRODDING. Traditional method by which grapes are crushed by foot. In Portugal, the only major wine-growing country in which foot trotting is still a common method for making high-end wines. Foot trotting takes place in large open vats or troughs known as lagars, LAGARES. And let's see. Fortified. This denotes a wine whose alcohol content has been increased by the addition of brandy or natural spirits. And let's do one more here. Foudre, Foudre. It's French, and I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right. A large wooden vat. This is popular in France's Rhone Valley. Significantly larger than typical oak barrels, often with the capacity to hold more than 1,000 liters of wine. For day, I don't know. And then next one, fourth growth, and this is a classified growth. We just told you about what wines were included in the first growth. This is the fourth growth they're talking about here, and it doesn't list them. So we'll start next week with Foxy as our next term, and hopefully I'm going to be on the show next week and not be messed with computer problems. So there we go. There's our definitions for this week. Let me go back now and be sure that Mike hasn't sent me any messages. No, he has not. So I guess we're all still good out there. I got to check this every once in a while since I can't hear him and you all can. So I will just check and see if he has anything to say to me every once in a while here. Okay. I saw a very interesting article. No, I got an email. It's from Wine Folly. I've talked Wine Folly. I've shared their information many times. A good site. If you don't subscribe to their e-letters, I do suggest very highly that you do. They have a lot of information on there, and Melody, is it? Who's the one that writes and all that? She does a great job. But Wine Folly had a nice little article here, which I thought y'all might be interested in hearing about. For those of you who don't get Wine Folly, I've talked about this in the past, and it's always good to visit it again. So, you mean members? I am a member. I guess email. Let's see, I got it. Okay, there we go. Finally lets me in. Okay, this is it's taxes and the three-tier system. Why wine costs so much. And I read this earlier. I wonder why it didn't let me in now. That's odd. It says the wine you buy in America passes through several hands before it reaches your glass. This process is called the three-tier system. And I've talked about the three-tier system. And if you've listened to the show over the years, you know I am not a fan of the three-tier system. But she goes on, and Madeline Puckett, that's the name I was trying to think of, who writes these. The three-tier system was created nearly a century ago. And it's starting to show how it does not work well. It's starting to show some cracks in the whole system. As far as I'm concerned, the whole system is flawed anyway, if they're trying to do that. I just got Dr. Pepper I'm sipping on tonight. No wine. Although my engineer might bring me some before the show's over. This is how wine's sold in the United States. Tier 1, the producers. These are the grape growers and the wineries, okay? The grape growers add money to it because they're growing the grapes and they're selling it to the winery. Then it goes from the wineries to the importers, and there's more money added there. Then from the importers, they get to the wholesalers or the distributors. This is tier 2, and there's more money added there. And then they go from there to the retailers, which is the restaurants and the liquor stores and all that stuff. And that's tier 3, and there's more money added there. And then it is sold to you and me. And by that time, you've had 3 different fingers in the pie, and each finger adds money to it. And so, therefore, our wine is expensive. The three-tier system distribution involves producers, distributors, retailers, and each step adds money to the cost. Now, this was originally designed after Prohibition to regulate alcohol consumption. They figured that, they can't stop alcohol completely, so they'll regulate it. Well, one of the problems with that is that it just didn't work. And they turned it back to the states too. And when they turned it back to the states, states had a lot of graft, if you will, at the time. So the three-tier system originally was intended to slow down and control alcohol sales. And since it emerged in the wake of the American Antitrust Act of the 1890s, it was structured to, 1, increase the base price of alcohol to discourage overconsumption. 2, prevent monopolies by limiting the influence of large producers. Not retailers, but large producers, which obviously hasn't done anything because we got a lot of large producers now. And 3, encourage competition by ensuring no single entity controls the entire supply chain. Yeah, okay. Despite these well-meaning goals, the system has created unintended consequences. And this is especially bad for small, quality-focused producers. Okay, bulk wine. The winery charges $2, the markup's $5, so you end up paying $7. But quality wine, the winery charges $15, you pay $40, the markup is $25. Gets on now. I'm horrible at percentage. I can talk to Mike right now. I'm horrible at percentage. What's the percentage? It looks like the same percentage. 2, 4, 6, 3, and 7. About 15, 30, 45. It's a cheaper percentage on the quality wines there. It looks like. Huh. Okay. Well, she explains it here. Markup percentages from distributors and retailers are based on the bottle's cost, meaning higher prices multiply as they move through the system. Since small wineries often operate with higher production costs, their wines face a steeper uphill battle in pricing. Winery charges retail. Winery charges $5, you pay $13 retail price. In a restaurant, the winery charges you $5 and you pay $30. Gee, that's 6 times markup. That's a lot. Usually it's 3 to 4 times markup. Not all markups are created equal. Restaurants typically apply a higher markup than retailers, especially on premium bottles. That means a $20 wine at a store might cost $50 or more at your favorite restaurant. She says the internet is disrupting the three-tier system. Online wine sales have exploded into a multi-billion-dollar industry. While some states still block direct shipping, the landscape is shifting. And this is a battle about DTC, direct to consumer, direct to customer. Almost every state allows it, but there are still those few holdouts out there. Direct shipping gives consumers better access to a wider range of wines, often at lower prices. This trend is chipping away at the traditional three-tier system because it skips them. I mean, if you can get on the internet and order wine directly from any winery, I don't care. You can name one. Mondavi, you can ship it directly from Mondavi. You don't have that middleman there saying, okay, this is going to cost you this and this and this for our markup so we can pay our trucks and we can pay our drivers and we can pay our warehousemen and we can pay for the storage in the warehouse and we can pay for the warehouse and then we can pay for our CEO and all the people under him. That's what you're paying for. Whereas directly, you're paying the winery that made the wine for you. And that's as it should be, I think. I mean, the three-tier system is outrageous, in a word. So the flash sales / this little thing here, the wine to the people. Just order directly from website, and the winery ships it directly to the people. And that's it. There's no middleman. There's no anything else. Websites like Cinderella Wine. You might write these down, people. These are good ways to go through and find something. Cinderella Wine, First Leaf, Wine Still Sold Out, Garagist, and Wine Excess can offer significant discounts. I've never heard of any of these. Why have I not heard of any of these? That's ridiculous. I am going to have to write these down. I mean, why would I not have these available in my head and in my... Okay, Cinderella, Cinderella, just like it is. Cinderella Wine. Say the whole name is Cinderella Wine. Next one, First Leaf, all one word. Firstleaf. And I haven't checked out these sites, so I don't know what they are. Wine Sold Out. Madeline has these. Oh no, Wine Still Sold Out. I'm sorry, Wine Still Sold Out. And Garagist is Garagiste. Garage. I guess I'm pronouncing that right. Looks like that's how it is. And the last one, Wine Access. WINEACCESS. So try those. Check them out. See what they are. I'm going to check it out too, and I'll let you know what they say. She says, these platforms negotiate directly with wineries and pass on the savings to their large audiences. Thanks to high volume, you can score exceptional wines at prices well below retail. That's as it should be. Online wine marketplaces. Okay, again, simple. The consumer goes to the website orders it from the winery, has it shipped to the consumer. Online market formed how consumers discover and buy wine. Platforms like wine.com, Vinvino, and Total Wine offer vast selections, consumer reviews, and competitive pricing all in one place. The digital storefronts often work within the three-tier system, but streamline access to hundreds, sometimes thousands of wines that might be hard to find locally. For consumers, this means more choices, more price transparency, and the convenience of home delivery, especially in states with flexible shipping laws. Some of them are very tight shipping laws, and you before you order or check this stuff out in your state, you might check and see what it has to say. What happened here? Okay, the screen just disappeared, and I started to panic for a second there. Okay, so check your state laws and rules before you start doing any online, because you might not be able to get it. Some states, and I've talked about what states have to offer and what doesn't. I think just a couple of 3 weeks ago, I've told you just about all of them, but there were a few still that had some of the old antiquated laws that you need to check before you start ordering wines coming in. Okay, an importer direct. This is the last category here. More wineries and importers are now selling directly to the consumer, bypassing traditional distribution channels when state laws allow it. This DTC, or direct to consumer, allows small producers to maintain better margins and offer personalized experiences like wine clubs and limited releases. Importers have also gotten creative, offering curated selections or seasonal packs shipped straight to your door. These models cut out the middleman, often resulting in better value for drinkers and more visibility for boutique producers that might otherwise be overlooked. And so there you go. She said, sources, a great article on the true cost of wine from the Oregonian, a fabulous comparison of the three-tier system to the UK vertical monopoly in the Washington Monthly, and a report from the Sovos shipment compliant on 2023 online sales. So that's your source of those. So there you go. But I've never been a fan of the three-tier system. Never was a fan when I first started getting into wine and understood the three-tier system. Definitely was not a fan when I had the winery and I had to deal with the three-tier system, although we did have all three licensed. We had a manufacturer's, retail, and wholesale. So we could bypass the three-tier system, which is very, very rare that they'll issue you all three license. It's something that they try not to do. But it's a good way to get an idea of how it works and how the system works. Every time you have someone touch the product, it is going to add cost. Simple as that. That's just the basic economics. So good. Let me get away from this. Discover Benzinger. This up here I've never. I'm 21. And well, they're reasonably priced. Benzinger wineries are located. Oh, they're biodynamic farming. They have all sorts of certifications and certified organic on their Chardonnay. They're Los Caneros, Sonoma County. The Chardonnay is 14% alcohol, 95 points, and the price is $48 if you remember, $38.40. So, Benzinger. I've seen Benzinger. I've never paid much attention to them. I don't know why this popped up. It might. Well, let's get out of it anyway. So, let me see what else I've got to tell you about here that okay, that one I can get out of. And let's see. Oh, Wine Spectator. Seminars announced for the wine experience coming up on October 16th to the 18th, New York City. They have winemaker Michael Slaki from Opus One, the wines of Chateau Cheval Blanc. General Director leads the tasting on that. Rare Champagne, Chef's Challenge, Exploration of Hermitage Terroir, 2020 Brunello, and much more. They've got all sorts of stuff going on in that. 44th annual. Let's see, I thought I saved some more information on that. No, I did not on this page. Boy, this computer is really aggravating. Just the... No, that's not the... So let me go and look at this page here. And get out of that. And not there. Not there. I thought I saw something about tickets still available for those. And I don't see it now. Huh. Well, oh well. Okay. I may have. Well, okay. Let's see what other information I can pass on to you then, since I can't find that. This is the 17th. Yes, the 17th. And this is new compliances that they need to take care of, and tariffs. You can substitute American for overseas, so the tariffs won't be affecting you as much because there's no tariffs in the United States. That's basically the purpose of the tariffs, is to get you to buy domestic and not foreign. So the prices are going to jump up in foreign to push you toward domestic. So what you do to find something domestic that you're used to in foreign? Well, for loads. There you go. Let's see, American Alternatives. Oh, geez, this is not loading. Oh my. Well, you can always go back to the old standards instead of getting, reds from France. You can always look at some from Napa. We did win the Judgment of Paris, and we have been doing in 1976, which, oh my gosh, that is what, 30, no, what, yeah, 50 years ago, almost 50 years ago. Why my math is wrong. We won the both red and white categories, so instead of getting a Bordeaux or a white Burgundy, get some Napa reds, some Chardonnays from Napa or Central Valley or stuff like that. There's all sorts of ways you can beat the tariffs by going domestic. Pinot Noir is really nice coming out of Willamette Valley, Oregon, and the hills in Santa Barbara and southern part, similar climates to the wine growing regions of Burgundy. So there's all sorts of different substitutes you can find here in the States instead of doing foreign. And there are actually, you're not going to be paying as much in the long run because they are domestic, and even if you are paying less for domestic wines of similar thing than you would on wine. So Look around. There are good ones. Find yourself a good shop that you're familiar with the people that run it and all that, and ask for recommendations. They are all your recommendations of stuff that would be equal to the qualities and all that. And one of the things, Italy seems to be more tariffs than anyone else. As of right now, this thing is just it's bouncing all over the place. Nobody really knows what's happening with it. It changes so often that it's this page won't load at all. Um, Nobody really knows what's happening with the tariffs because it changes. One week we've got 1,000% tariff on something coming in. The next week, Trump's worked out something with them that we don't pay the tariffs. Want to do a good exchange from them to ours. So, yeah, don't worry about the tariffs right now. If you've stocked up on wines, your favorites from overseas, then you're in good shape. If you did not, you're looking at domestic wines. There are some great ones out there too. So go that way. Okay, let's see what we got here. Putting a cork in it. Let's see. We have talked about this on the show in the past. This is a long article. I'm not going to go through the whole thing here. It's called Putting a Cork in the Wine Closure Argument. It says that, the leadoff line says the objection to non-cork closures remains curiously persistent, especially among wine people who should know better. And that's a good point. The article talks about the bias of closures. The producers often blame an alleged down market image, and certain consumers' prejudice forces their hand to use real corks. But resistance to premium and super premium labels bottled under screw cap is driven largely by factors like aesthetics, tradition, and the long-standing association of cork with aging potential of fine wines. And given these entrenched perceptions, you can hesitate to anticipate a significant shift towards screw caps for higher priced wines on the foreseeable future. Maybe, I don't know. Screw caps have been around for a long time. It hasn't taken off yet as much as a lot of them think it would. So, article goes on and it talks about the excuse me. There are other examples of externalizing to sink our teeth into industry shifts allegedly rooted in evolutions in consumer preferences. No. The Chardonnay, for example, was not driven by backlash, idealized by pared back interpretations. It was infused with the scent of new oak and can still knock them dead. And the same thing as zero dosage champagne fad. And that has also been using screw caps. So there are reasons that screw caps work and work well. It's still the perception of a screw cap being not quite the quality. And it's changing. There are screw caps out there now that when you unscrew it, it pops because of the dosage of CO2 that's in there that needs to escape, and it pops. So the old argument of screw cap or cork is still ongoing. And I don't think it's going to be settled anytime soon. It's been a continuous thing for quite some time now. And certain people are just not going to accept screw cap as a proper closure to a wine. Okay, now there's another one that was another article that was rather interesting. If this ever loads, it says new study debunks belief that red wine is better than white at mitigating cancer risk. Okay, we've talked about wines and the cancer risk and what is good and what is bad. In fact, I've got a book here that I continue reading and looking at, and it's about wine and cancer and diseases, all that. And it usually points to red. Oh, come on. What is wrong with you? Why don't you load? This is not loading. If Mike has anything to say.
Nope, still here.
Oh, is my microphone working? I just had a note pop down to say that it unexpectedly stopped.
What?
Did you get any gaps in there, Mike? You can type. I'm on the C.
I don't know where you.
Any gaps in my presentation?
Computer problems?
Yes. No. Are you still? Am I still going? Oh, good. Good. Okay. Yeah. He says I'm still going. So.
And you can't hear me.
And this won't. Well, basically, this article says, other than skin cancer, no significant difference between red and white wines was found. Findings provided a critical public health message that drinking red wine may not be any better than drinking white wine in terms of cancer risk. There you go. It's always been red wines that they have said, but this article says that it is the same as drinking except for skin cancer. Red wine and antioxidant for years have been saying that the red wines contain resveratrol, a natural substance found in the skins, which possess antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, cardioprotective, and anti-cancer properties. Oh, wow. That's why they make pills for them, too. Red wine has been praised for its anti-aging properties, and it also has been used in the blue diet or blue zone diet. And as one study in the Journal of Prevention of Alzheimer's Disease showed that consumers who consumed alcohol at least once a week had significantly better cognitive function in old age than those who did not drink at all. Wine's good for you. The panel searched PubMed and Embase databases up to December 2023, searching for terms that included wine and cancers of the oral cavity, pharynx, larynx, esophagus, liver, colorectum, and female breast. A total of 253 published articles came up, with 42 articles, 22 case studies of interest, with potential publication biases also plotted out. Although there is some evidence of anti-carcinogenic effect of resveratrol in experimental studies, we did not observe that red wine consumption is associated with a reduced risk of cancer in our meta-analysis. Yeah, okay. However, looking at the entire range of sample articles, it appeared every additional glass of white wine women per day, it was associated with a 5% increase in overall cancer risk. The panel noted this finding may require further study. There was one particular cancer that came to the in terms of wine drinking, with the meta-analysis suggesting a 22% higher cancer when consuming white wine over a long time. It has been hypothesized that alcohol consumption can promote skin carcinogenicity through the byproducts of metabolites of alcohol. Whoa. But the panel drinking wine may be more common in Caucasians who are more susceptible to skin cancer than other racial groups. Heavy consumption of wine may also correlate to high risk behaviors such as indoor tanning and inadequate sunscreen use. Other than skin cancer, no significant difference between red and white wine was found. So they're saying that wine is not bad for you. Well, we have found this out over the course of this show over the last however many number of years that we've been doing this, that one study says it's good, one study says it's bad, one study says it's good, one study says it's bad. I've been reading this book, and basically that for every one study that says it's bad, there are numerous studies wine drinking's good. So I tend to think that it is good for you as opposed to bad for you. But that's just my opinion. I'm not a doctor. I've never conducted any major studies after people, and I've just heard things and I've read stuff, and that wine's good for you. There you go. Okay. Else I've got for you tonight. A few more minutes, we'll call it quits. Let's see. Come here. Where are you? Constellation brand. Constellation brand has been selling and buying their wineries. Once the second largest wine company in the United States, they've been selling a lot of wineries. The U.S. wine, the article says the U.S. wine business has changed over the years. Constellation was the second largest one in the country behind Gallo 2, Gallo umbrella of, but it's 80-year-old company, and they've been diversing a lot of their different brands. You've seen Constellation brands in the store. I know you have Woodbridge, Robert Bandavi, the Prisoner, Schrader Cellars, Sea Smoke, and Simi Winery. But they have started to diversify and get rid of some of these. They are looking at other venues of money. They are still pretty strong in the spirits, and they're doing a lot with spirits and beer. So Mexican and craft beer and legal marijuana are really starting to step in and take a lot of the business away from some of Constellation Brands' main. It has been a player for years, and they are looking at getting out of some of the areas before the areas force them out with a loss. So that's what they're doing. Let's see, there's something I just saw here I wanted to pass on to you. I don't see it. It was founded in 1945 in upstate New York. It's focused on selling bulk wine. And you've heard of Richard's Wild Irish Rose. That is the first Constellation brand. It was founded by Marvin Sands, the Constellation brand was. And Wild Irish Rose was named after his son, Richard's Wild Irish Rose. And his growth in the 90s to 2000 was constant and was always there. But then they were constantly in the top 50 producers in the wine business. And then they decided to start selling stuff off and getting rid of stuff. And they have been doing that for a long time. And I just read, I think, 2 or 3 months ago about one of them that they just recently sold off. So it's still there. It's still going to be around. It's just that they're not as unbelievably big as they used to be. I don't know who's number one. It doesn't say in this article, and I can't think of who it might be right now. But okay, in the United States, or maybe one overseas that's bigger, but in the United States. So, Constellation brand is one we can look at news, I think, more often because of what they're doing in the selling off. All right, let's do another. This is, we're talking about shipping around the world and shipping to different things. This is from, it's longer than I thought. The U.S. District Court rules for Ohio in retail shipping challenge. The plaintiffs are taking their quest for national shipping rights for alcohol retailers to the Sixth Circuit Court. The plaintiff originally lost at the District Court, appealed to the Sixth Circuit, had the Sixth Circuit ask the District Court to examine more facts, lost again at the District Court when they considered additional facts, and is now seeking another bite at the appellate apple. So, the quest for national shipping rights is been a long time ruled for Ohio against a challenge by an out-of-state retailer is really what the ruling has been. The lawsuit was filed in 2020, which was challenging Ohio retailer shipping laws, and it was returned to the District Court in 2023 after the Sixth Circuit Court remanded the case with instructions. All these court systems they don't want to do it, they send it to somebody else. After reviewing how the courts have ruled in other responses, they sent it back to them and they said, you need to be consistent in your rulings. Basically, that's what they're saying. So, the opinion is still in the works. They're going to appeal again and see if they can't get Ohio to open up their shipping in there. probably using that tired old thing. Well, if you ship, then the kids may be getting it. Now, the kids aren't going to get it. They're not going to order wine to be shipped to them. Geez. Okay, so I've been on for an hour, so I think that's good. Let's go back to Mike here, since no, I still can't hear you, Mike. I have never heard you throughout the show.
Still.
I don't know what the word is. I have no idea what's going on with that.
Yeah, I don't either.
So,
okay.
That's it.
Well,
I'm going to turn this over to Mike to close it out. All be
right.
safe, and we'll see you next week, and hopefully audio problems settled by
bugs
then.
out.
So it's all yours.
He can't hear me.
Mike.
We will be back on May 29th. That is next Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, right here on social media. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all have a great week, and be safe. And it's Memorial Day. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can type that down. Memorial Day, Monday. See if he wants to make an announcement there. I don't know if he's reading that or not, but we will talk to y'all next Thursday on social media. Have a great weekend. Thank you. And be safe again. All right, cool. I don't think he saw that.
This concludes tonight's broadcast of All About Wine with your host, Ron. For show information, links to All About Wine on Twitter and Facebook, or to be a guest on this show, visit the show website at www.allaboutwinebtr.com. Archived shows are available for download on iTunes or on our show page at blogtalkradio.com/allaboutwine. Thank you for listening. Drink responsibly, and we'll see you next time on All About Wine.